For 24 years, I believed in the life I had built with my wife, Linda. 24 years of marriage, 2 children, countless birthdays, anniversaries, vacations, and ordinary days filled with love, routine, and comfort. We had weathered challenges, job losses, moving cities, family illnesses, but we had always faced them together, hand in hand. Or so I thought. It began as a quiet unease. Linda had started spending more time on her phone, hiding text messages, and making excuses for late nights at work. At first, I attributed it to stress, long hours, or simply fatigue. After all, life had been busy, and we both had responsibilities. But over time, small inconsistencies began to accumulate. Unexplained expenses, subtle changes in her behavior, and a nervousness I had never seen before. I tried to ignore it, telling myself I was imagining things. 24 years of trust shouldn't be questioned lightly. But then, the first blow came. A doctor's appointment she had kept secret, the results of which she initially refused to share. The words, when she finally confessed, shattered my world. She had contracted an STD from a one-night encounter. The revelation hit me harder than any financial loss or betrayal could. The person I had spent nearly a quarter of a century with, the woman I had trusted with my heart and the lives of our children, had risked everything for a fleeting moment. I felt dizzy, sick, and utterly betrayed. My mind raced, trying to comprehend the decisions that had led to this moment. How could someone walk away from decades of shared history for a single night? The confrontation was inevitable. I remember sitting across from her at the kitchen table, the morning light filtering through the blinds, casting a harsh glow on her face. She avoided my eyes, her hands trembling slightly. I made a mistake," she whispered. "It was just one night. I didn't mean for any of this to happen." "Just one night?" I repeated, my voice trembling with rage and disbelief. "You gave up 24 years of marriage, our family, our life, for a single encounter?" "For what?" Linda's tears fell silently, but her remorse felt hollow compared to the devastation she had caused. She spoke of loneliness, desire, and fleeting temptation, but none of it could excuse the betrayal. None of it could undo the emotional devastation. The sense of trust shattered beyond repair. In the days that followed, I withdrew into myself, trying to process the enormity of what had occurred. I kept a journal, recording every memory, every emotion, every conversation. I tried to understand the choices she had made, even as my heart ached. I realized that love alone could not repair the damage done. Trust, once broken in such a fundamental way, could not easily be restored. I sought advice from friends, family, and even a counselor. Their reactions varied, but a common thread emerged. This was not just an indiscretion. It was a profound betrayal, one that required decisive action. My friends urged me to protect myself, to safeguard my children, and to reclaim control over the life that had been endangered by her choices. The legal and logistical consequences became clear. I had to separate finances, establish custody arrangements for our children, and secure the assets we had built together. It was painful, not just financially but emotionally, to dismantle a life we had constructed over decades. But it was necessary to protect myself and the family from further harm. Linda attempted to justify her actions, to frame them as a search for personal fulfillment or a moment of indiscretion that should be forgiven. But I had lived 24 years with her, sharing every intimate detail of our lives, building a foundation of trust and mutual respect. One night had destroyed all of that. Her arguments, her attempts at reconciliation, felt desperate and empty against the backdrop of her betrayal. In the weeks following the revelation, I focused on rebuilding. I prioritized my children, ensuring that they felt secure despite the upheaval. I returned to routines, hobbies, and friendships that I had neglected over the years, finding strength in familiar patterns and supportive relationships. Every day was a step toward reclaiming a life that had been destabilized by someone else's choices. The emotional journey was complex. Anger, grief, and disbelief mingled with a quiet determination to move forward. I learned that forgiveness was not immediate, and that moving on did not require condoning her actions. I had to redefine my sense of self, separate from the identity we had shared, and rebuild confidence in my ability to navigate life independently. Months later, Linda moved out, renting a small apartment in a nearby city. She continued to contact me, pleading for understanding, for reconciliation, for a chance to explain herself further. I maintained firm boundaries, allowing no room for manipulation or further intrusion into my life. My priority remained clear: protect my children, maintain stability, and rebuild my own sense of normalcy. The experience taught me profound lessons about human desire, weakness, and the fragility of trust. Even long-standing marriages, grounded in years of shared history and affection, can be shattered by impulsive decisions. Yet, it also revealed the resilience within me, the ability to process betrayal, establish boundaries, and create a path forward without allowing anger or despair to dominate my life. As the months passed, I found solace in routine, strength in my children's laughter, and clarity in the support of friends and family. The pain never fully disappeared, but it transformed, becoming a reminder of the importance of vigilance, communication, and self-respect in relationships. I learned that love, while powerful, cannot withstand betrayal when paired with secrecy and disregard for the shared life we promised to protect. Eventually, I accepted that Linda's actions were her own, and that my responsibility was to myself and my children. I could not control her behavior, nor could I change the past. What I could control was my response, the environment I created for my family, and the values I upheld. In doing so, I reclaimed agency over a life that had been endangered by a single reckless choice. Years later, looking back, the memory of that one night, the STD, the betrayal, the heartbreak, remains painful, but it also stands as a testament to survival and resilience. I rebuilt not just a life, but a sense of self, a family foundation, and the clarity that comes from confronting the harshest truths of human behavior. Through it all, my children became a source of hope and healing. Their trust, love, and resilience inspired me to move forward, to foster a household defined not by betrayal, but by integrity, communication, and shared responsibility. I learned that while some people may choose fleeting satisfaction over decades of commitment, others have the capacity to endure, recover, and thrive. Ultimately, the story of my heartbreak became a story of recovery. The woman who gave up 24 years of marriage for a single night faced the consequences of her choices, while I forged a new path, one defined not by betrayal, but by perseverance, self-respect, and the unwavering commitment to protect the life I had built and the children I loved. The lesson was clear. Love is not enough to sustain a relationship when trust is broken in the most profound ways. Yet, resilience, clarity, and the ability to prioritize the well-being of oneself and one's family can transform heartbreak into a foundation for a stronger, wiser, and more purposeful life. As I continue to move forward, the past no longer dictates my daily existence. The memory of betrayal serves as a reminder of human frailty, but also as evidence of the enduring strength within me. I have reclaimed my narrative, safeguarded my family, and cultivated a life of stability, trust, and personal growth. Linda's choice to give up decades of marriage for a moment of indulgence cannot undo the decades of lessons, love, and resilience that continue to define my journey.